Why did I stay with my shitty ex? Am I in a toxic relationship? How am I going to move on and find love? We're your hosts, Izzy
and Meredith,
and welcome to ExFacts, Relationships and Breakups. Relationships are confusing. When they end, we're left picking up the pieces and wondering what went wrong. So, each episode on ExFacts, we'll hear stories from real people sharing their experiences in relationships. We'll also hear from experts to help us uncover the deeper meaning behind our actions and emotions. At the end of every episode, we'll answer a listener's question. No topic is off limits, so ask us anything you want to know. From conflict and healing to dating and love, ExFacts will take you on a mind-blowing journey to explore all aspects of our amazing, imperfect, frustrating relationships. So, hi everyone. Welcome to today's episode of ExFacts, Relationships and Breakups. We're your hosts, Izzy and Meredith, and we have a guest today.
We have a guest today. This is River. Welcome to the pod.
Hello.
Thank you for being on. So River and I met, like 2 years ago, maybe, at a warehouse.
Like a year and a half.
Yeah, something like that. It was fate, I guess. We kind of just started talking. And I think that he has a unique perspective on relationships and just life and philosophy. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm River. And,
yes, you are.
I've been through a lot in relationships, and really, I guess you're right. I do have a unique outlook on the way that I am looking for my person. So I'm what I would consider ambiamorous, which is, so I believe in polyamory and monogamy. Like, I could do either. And what it actually means to me is that I will be poly until I find that like one person for me. And I believe that, people can love more than one person, but I also do believe that there is that, one perfect person out there for you.
If you're lucky.
if you're lucky, you gotta put it in the personal growth work with that too.
Yeah, for sure.
Be the perfect person for your perfect person.
That's been a big part of your life lately. Do you want to talk about that? You don't have to.
Yeah, so are you in a relationship right now, or?
Not right this second, but possibly soon. It's just like the early stages of something new. But I don't know where it's going yet. So we'll see what happens with that.
Nice.
But you think it has potential to be the relationship that takes you from poly to monogamy, maybe?
Possibly. It's definitely potential in there, but you never know until like you have been, talking with that person for at least like a year, because you go through a lot of things within that year and, realize, the person that you're, in love with already. And like, there's different experiences that you go through, ups and downs, and how that person deals with those situations.
Right. How they react to different
so like
things that life throws at you. Cool glasses, by the way.
Thanks.
Pretty chic. I did want to ask about, if you're comfortable talking about it. So you also have a very unique sense of style. I don't know how you would characterize it. I would say it's like kind of androgynous.
Yeah,
Like we
so
incorporate some women's pieces. Do you want to talk about that? And
yeah, so I'm what's called gender non-conforming, and basically I dress in masculine and feminine clothing based on how I feel. And this is something that was fairly new. Probably about like 2 years ago I started this, and I wanted to reinvent myself, and I always, enjoyed, feminine things and the styles that you can do versus masculine clothing is kind of crazy.
yeah, it's
Um,
limited.
yeah, it really is. And so I started doing that, and I realized a few things when I did that. Like one thing was when I would meet new people, I could almost instantly realize if they're going to be worth my time or not, just by the way that they're like interacting with
That makes
me
sense.
How
in
they're
that
reacting to
moment.
your physical
Yeah.
appearance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
So
Like
that
figure
was
out
a
if you're an
really
open person or like if you're
Right.
kind of stuck in
Judgmental or
exactly.
yeah.
So that was like a cool like byproduct of it that I was like, oh, cool. Like this is great.
It's interesting
It,
that you took a positive spin on that rather than taking it as like people are dicks and why is everyone, or not everyone, but like why are people not accepting me? It's interesting
see,
that you took it as like a benefit of being able to filter through people in an expeditious way.
yeah, well, so growing up my whole life, I was like the annoying kid. So I'm used to it. So it's just like, all right, like that's life. Let's go.
Yeah, well, I think that's a healthy attitude to have.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and it's also nice, I feel like, when you can have your outer appearance match what you're about to show from your inside. You know what I mean? That's what it kind of sounds like from you.
Yeah,
Like you're not a conventional person and you're dressing in that way, kind of like lets people know that. And then you kind of get to know whether they're going to accept you for who you are later.
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like as an actual person.
Yeah. Well, you said that you choose what you're going to wear based on your mood. So, like, can you give an example of the kind of mood you're in when you want to like wear more masculine clothes versus when you're feeling like incorporating some feminine pieces?
So the weather definitely constitutes that. In the
That's
winter, I'm
fair.
definitely in mostly masculine clothes because I prioritize comfort over style.
Hmm.
Um,
Not
but
conducive to women's
yeah,
fashion.
no, not at all. No. So like if I'm going to an event in the winter, like and I'm feeling feminine, I'll literally wear sweatpants and a sweatshirt over it. Like I do not care. Like I'll just find a place to put those things when I get into the event
Hmm.
because yeah, no, your hose do get cold. Right.
They
So
are cold and they get cold.
yeah, no, I don't deal with that shit. But um, so usually like with events and festivals and stuff, I'll be feeling like more creative and more into my feminine energy than my masculine energy. So that's usually when it comes out, but definitely in the summer when I don't have to work and like I'm just being myself and just doing
Just being
random things.
mildly.
Yeah, just not having to provide for myself because I already provided for myself earlier on in the year. And it's just like all creative feminine energy. And I'm usually towards the feminine clothing during that time.
Okay, so summer's like your me time.
Yeah.
I like that. So I think the creativity as far as translating into clothing probably has to do with you have a day job, but you're also like you create music, right?
I don't create it really yet, but I am a DJ, so I do put together sets and I create sets with other people's music.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, I feel like that's probably a community and a culture that is more conducive to like flexing different styles of clothing. I mean, if you
Definitely.
worked at a bank, it would probably be kind of a different story.
Yeah, no. For my day job, I definitely can't dress in the way I would normally dress.
Mhm.
I have to, so like I have kind of people's lives in my hands while I'm working floods, like after people get flooded. And so they need to feel comfortable with who shows up at their door, and like they can do their job really well. And
Mhm.
so
Well,
that's
it's
where
unfortunate that
capacity comes
people
out.
might assume that you can't just because you
Exactly. Yeah, and
happen
see,
to be. I
yeah,
get it. You do it, but
it's
it
just
it
the way the
shouldn't
world
have
is.
to be that way. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just the way the world is. So it's
Yeah.
whatever, and I get that. So it's like I want them to feel the most comfortable in the situation because I'm good at my job and I'm gonna handle their claim appropriately.
Right. How do you think your outer appearance and the choices you make has affected your like dating life and your relationships?
So that has also been great because when I meet a girl while I'm in my feminine clothing, they are already accepting of who like I choose to be, and those are the people that I want in my life in general. So when it ends up being a romantic interest, it's just even better.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So do you identify as straight?
Yes. I had a few gay experiences when I was younger, and it's just not for me.
Not for you.
Yeah,
I
no,
think
it's
it's
just
good
not for
that
me.
like
Fair. Yeah.
guys can or
Try
you-
anything
you
3
can-
times.
Exactly. Like I always think that that's an unfortunate side effect of I guess the stigma around like
Yeah.
homosexuality. For like, there's a totally different one. I feel like for women than there is for
Oh,
men
for
in
sure.
general.
I agree.
Because like girls are like almost pushed into
When
trying-
women do it, it's hot.
Yeah,
When
exactly.
guys do it, it's
So,
offensive.
like, you can't get through college as a girl without trying, you know what I mean? But for guys, it's totally different. And I think
Yeah.
if it were to be like there were more stories like yours out there where like I tried it and I wasn't really into it, you know, which is my experience personally. But
Yeah, and to
and I
each
think
their
that's
own.
that's like it would take away a lot of the questions probably in the back of people's minds.
Yeah.
Like a lot of like
Well,
So
not only
you would
that.
think, but so I dated this girl,
Mhm.
and so this was like before I did the feminine clothing stuff
Mhm.
and everything. And she knew about these experiences when I was younger,
Yeah.
and she always assumed that I was gay and that I was going to cheat on her with a guy.
Really? Wow.
So like you would think that it would be like, oh, he tried, like he doesn't.
Yeah.
I think it is so different with men and women. Like, I think when men have, you know, an experience with another man, people assume that automatically makes them
Yeah.
into men and only
Yeah, and
men.
then they're now like secretly gay and they just don't want to admit it
Yeah.
or something.
I also think that it's because of the stigma so much, because I think that
Mhm.
unless you're a really open person, for guys to be able to cross that barrier, they have to have gone through a lot in their head where they're like, okay, I am going to try this, I'm going to go against society, I'm going to go against what's like, you know, what the world is telling me to do. So they think that, so I think sometimes maybe women might interpret that as, okay, he really, really wanted to do it, as opposed to, oh, I'm just trying something.
Well, I think
you know?
guys think that too. I think guys are probably even worse about that than women are. But that kind of leads me to, I was gonna say, you know, I have like ignoramus friends who are like, all girls are a little bit gay, all girls are a little bisexual, whatever. And I'm like, I feel like all humans are individuals, but I think like public perception of girls being more flex than guys is skewed because of the shame for men versus women, it being like a hot thing. I think it's probably like more equal than most people think, but just like culturally, boys don't have as much of a
leeway, like
like as much open-mindedness around it, so that people, you know, can tolerate it and they can be open about it.
I definitely agree.
Why do people suck so much? God.
Right.
Is there anything you would like to discuss?
I have one question from what you said in the beginning. So what was the, forget, is it a noun or an adjective that you described, like being sometimes poly, sometimes
Ambiamory.
Ambiamory. Okay. So
Yeah,
what
sounds like a sleeping pill.
Yeah. So ambiamory, the technical meaning for it is that a person can both be poly or monogamous.
Okay.
And then I take it one step further with I believe that everyone should be poly until they find that one person to be monogamous with.
For sure. And so what's the difference between that and like just dating versus finding like the one person? Like, can you
So
explain
it's
that
kind of the same thing. It's kind of the same thing, but like most people, when they find somebody that they really like, they just spend all that time with that one person, even at the infancy of the relationship. And with the poly, you would keep on, talking to other people, during
there's
that
no
first,
time pressure to put a label on the relationship.
I see.
It's like we're dating, but we know that we're also able to be dating other people, even if we've been dating for 6 months.
Okay, that makes
right
sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a lot of times how things are in probably practice to some degree for some people, but it's like maybe it's also a difference of acknowledging it versus not acknowledging it, like hiding it basically.
I mean, if you're being shady, but even everything. One of my friends, dude and I have been hanging out for maybe like a year now, and like one of his female friends like had a couple drinks recently and was like, so like shit or get off the pot, what are you guys doing? It's been a year. And I'm like, the same thing we've been doing this entire time, nothing's changed. I know it's been a year, I'm sorry if that makes you feel uncomfortable, but we're both in agreement, so chill the fuck out, bro.
I mean, and that's how I feel sometimes with me and my boyfriend Carl, like with people,
marriage pressure,
with marriage and stuff. And they're like, "Oh, why aren't you married?" And I'm like, "I just don't give up."
Why do you give an F though?
Like, why do you care if I'm married? Like, we're not gonna break up anytime soon, I don't think. And just like lawyers,
less bullshit. Well, and also like the fact that people get so up in arms about it, like when you're cool with it and they have a problem with it, it's like, are you sure you're not just like displacing your
random, like I never take it, like I don't think people like really care whoever say it to me, but it's just like, oh, when is he gonna, they just assume that I care about it, I guess. They assume that like as a woman, like I'm the one who's like just nagging him
TikTok, put a ring on it.
Like, where's my ring? Like every time we go out to dinner, I'm like expecting something. It's like, no, we talked about it and I told him I don't give a fuck and like,
which is totally chill, and everyone should just mind their own goddamn business. Well, this has been a productive conversation. In conclusion, everyone sucks and they should not interfere with our life.
Respect other people's choices.
Necessarily. I think that's important. Because I would say too, people who are, open-minded, whatever you want to call it. I think the three of us are probably like progressive, open-minded, whatever. We don't judge other people's choices, even if they're different from ours and what we choose. Like, I'm not coming at someone else for doing something I don't necessarily believe in or agree with because it's their life and they're
But it's
welcome
not
to do
hurting
with it
anyone.
what they choose.
Yeah, like I don't care as long as you're not hurting someone else.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone else is doing. I don't have to choose to do whatever anyone else does, but like
Right.
Yep.
it doesn't matter as long as you're not like killing people.
Although we talked about the fact that we might still date murder.
True. I'm just saying, if you're to kill
It's
me,
not a hard no.
I have an issue with that.
Well, yeah. Can't have an issue if you're dead.
Yeah. Well, anyways, on that note, thank you so much for
Thank you for being so open.
yes, agreed.
No problem.
And sharing your outlook on things with us.
Yeah.
So
Of course.
until next time, everyone.
Have a
Bye.
good one.
Peace.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. You can catch a new episode of ExFacts next week. Hit that follow button so you don't miss out on any of the action. We want to hear from you, so leave us a comment or review. Until next time, bye.